I see,
Other transfers.
oh, we still on 8? All right, good. Hold on, let me just go one more. National Security Officers Foundation, because we still under 007, Mr. Speaker?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
What is, I see there's an increase of 136,000, but the increase is not the issue. What is being put in place for veterans?
Such as in
Veterans.
I know, but anything.
Yeah, but is there a plan for veterans in the service? Because I know that they have been clamoring to be recognized and, to be afforded a particular type of, service by the ministry. Is there anything in place for veterans?
Well, I know what I have been looking at. I mean, there's not any budget. It has to do with the concern that we have seen where persons may have left, when in the defense force.
Yes.
If you retire at 45 years old, you're retired. And whether it is an insurance scheme or other aspects to try to to have those individuals, yes, taken care of, yes.
That is being looked at?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I recognize the member for the Gomartin Northeast.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Going back to those items that the Leader of the Opposition brought up, 04 in particular and 05 under 007, what I've worked out is it's costing us $50,000 a year to train one person in the Civilian Conservation Corps. Have you ever done a value for money audit on this?
Well, I think definitely, Mr. Chairman, the cost-benefit analysis towards taking young persons and utilizing their energies away from a life of crime. I think just by that.
That's not what I meant. You're training these young people. It's costing you $50,000 per year per trainee. Is there not another way to do this? The way it would cost far less than $50,000 a year per person? What's your number? What will make you comfortable? $100,000 a year per person? $15,000? Have you ever done a value for money audit on this program?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, that is why we are actually doing an audit, and that involves the aspect towards the Hoop of Life, the mentorship program, to do exactly that, to ensure that there's cost-benefit analysis, so that you're not putting excess funds on middle management and it's actually not being utilized. Yes.
But you haven't done that yet?
No, we actually spoke about the audit. That was mentioned.
You're in the process of doing
Yes, that's right.
You haven't finished it yet? Okay.
No.
Okay, the member for the Gomartin Central.
Well, just first of all, a follow-up on that issue. When you say an audit, are you referring to an evaluation? And my question is on the strength or weakness of the monitoring and evaluation capacity within the ministry, because from time to time, and there are several line items of relevance, these different programs, different ministers would have their brainwaves, and you would have these social programs within national security. Have you been strengthening, I am not seeing evidence of it here, the monitoring and evaluation capacity so that these can be regularly evaluated on a structured basis and it could be reflected to the Parliament and the country? That's one question. My second question has to do with the same as asked by my colleague, National Security Officers Foundation, and the concern about retired Defense Force service members. They're reflecting issues of late payment of their
gratuity.
Yes, and increases were granted since I think 2008, and there's been concerns about that. So I don't know if that has your attention. So those were two issues.
Yes, the audit department is actually working on that. That's the latter point. Pertaining to the concept of the audit is not similar to an audit, just a financial audit to look at dollars and cents, but it is to ensure exactly that remember. Yes, but no, but it's to ensure systems that we can put in to make sure that we can maximize the value for all of these different projects, because it might very well be that we have funds that are being put into it that may not be required, or that we need to put focus on other aspects to improve the performance of these projects.
Who's conducting that exercise, or to conduct that exercise?
The Permanent Secretary, he's involved right now with a team to ensure that we have that agency to deal with the audit, because there might be different agencies depending on the requirement. For example, for the mentorship program, it would be something probably totally different to the requirement for the Hoop of Life.
Would it be in-house or contracted?
Contracted.
Okay, we go to item 9, other transfers. I recognize the member for Chaguanas West. And
Mr.
then the
Chairman.
member for Laventille East Mover,
Under,
and my two colleagues down.
under 16 Transit Police Unit, can you tell me how these people are recruited, how they are trained, and if this $1 million came for the police applies to them?
Transit.
If the,
$1 million you get if damaged in line of duty, if that applies to these policemen?
okay. The $1 million, Mr. Chairman, again, we are still looking at the system to ensure that no one will be left out, but in the same manner, so it is not abused. And I can give you an example. If someone is playing a football game for the police, and unfortunately if something happens, if that is going to be considered killed in the line of duty, if he's still performing his duty, if it is. Well, I don't know, but the thing is, so it is very important that we be very clear to ensure that this is not abused in any way or it goes overboard, whilst at the same time ensuring that individuals who have performed in the line of duty and they are killed, that they would be compensated. And that would involve not just transit police, we're also looking at the
Mr. Minister,
municipal police as well.
I'm not, of course, but at another time I'll go into that detail. That's an aside, because I have to talk about the SRP and all these people. So that's an aside, really. My question really is, however, how these people are recruited, how they are trained, because I see them almost every day, and I think that there needs to be some kind of overhaul of that unit.
Yes.
So how they're trained, how they've been recruited, that's the critical point right now. The SRP I'll come to at another time.
You have information on that?
Yes, Chairman. I mean, through OLEP, there's a proper recruiting process that takes place, and the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, they do have a part to play in that process for the training of the transit police. Obviously, it will not be the same as the persons who actually go in as regular members of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, but there's that basic degree of training that is mandated. It's similar to the Reserve Defence Force, similar to the SRPs. You must have some basic degree of training that is provided for those individuals.
Is recruitment exercise advertised?
Yes, it is. Yes, in fact, it was advertised just recently. Yes,
Yes, I recognize the member for Laventille East Mover.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a few questions. I just want to take on. SSA, there is an increase of 25 million. What accounts for that increase? Besides, listen to their conversation.
No, I will have to liaise with the director of SSA to ensure that I could provide that information and without actually revealing. There's a reason for this. Is not a cloak and dagger situation for the increase. There's something much more
Well, we
than
know
that.
one already, you know. We know one, but we want to know the other reasons.
I don't know. You could tell me.
All right.
All right.
I
the
move
other
to
question?
yes. I move to the HIV coordinating unit. It's 2 million. I mean, this unit. Is it just for the Ministry of National Security, General Administration? But I think it also covers Defence Force and so on.
What's this? The
HIV
yes.
unit.
And that works on. We
is
work
this
hand in hand
adequate?
with the
This
Ministry
money
of.
is
We work
adequate?
with the Ministry of Health on this matter.
Okay.
Yes.
The Naval Laventille initiative. I see an estimate of 23 million for 2015 and 2014, 26 million. I want to know what this is about, what was spent, what was done.
Yes.
This Laventille Mobile Initiative. Where was this money spent?
That is through OLEP. I can give you a breakdown as to how all the funds were spent and to explain to you how it can be acquired.
But was it spent in Mobile and Laventille?
Yeah,
That's what I would like to know.
yes.
Okay, there is an increase concerning, as you spoke about, OLEP, an increase of 2.8 million. What accounts for that increase to OLEP?
OLEP not involved in the community policing. Yeah, the OLEP has been now involved, Chairman, in a number of other activities. The Citizens Comfort Patrol being one, and other avenues. So OLEP has become much more heavily involved in other aspects. And again, I could give you the comprehensive breakdown of all that has caused the increase.
All right. The member for Diego Martin Northeast.
Why there isn't a Diego Martin initiative? I see Mova Laventille. What is that?
Naval, you have any concerns with this?
No, I am serious. I'm asking you, what is it? What is it?
Just,
$23 million for what? Answer.
that's the only one that you...
Answering my question. What is this
All right,
for?
let me recognize it with Diego Martin West, please.
Mr. Chairman, I have a,
Yeah, but we'll come back to you. Let's go on to Diego Martin West.
Mr. Chairman, I have an abiding concern about the management of these accounts under these transfers, and not just in this ministry, it's transfers in general, because it seems to have now become, not now, but it has turned out to be a major part of management of the public accounts of Trinidad and Tobago. And against the background of our recent developments, which our colleague here is very familiar with, there's an issue of public accounts management, reporting, transparency and accountability. And against that background, I want to ask the minister, how are these monies transferred to all these elements under 007 and 009? How is the operation run? Are there bank accounts that go with these transfers? Who is the money transferred to? And how are the monies accounted for by the accounting officer who would have transferred those monies?
Chairman, it's not that there's a specific bank account for these agencies. Everything goes through the accounts department of the Ministry of National Security. So with that, it will ensure that we have the checks and balances. I'm not saying that it doesn't mean that we need to verify whether we need to cut the fat in any way, but...
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm not here raising the quantum at all. I'm talking about the management of the accounts. If we agree that the sums are quite okay and there's no problem with the accounts, but what you've just said only guarantees that the money leaves you.
Yes.
And you send these transfers somewhere. For example, let's take the Mobile Laventil Initiative. We are transferring on an annual basis over $20 million per annum to something called the Mova Laventil Initiative. As far as I'm concerned, that is Lennox Smith. The accounting officer in your ministry sends or causes to be sent to MLIO $20-odd million of taxpayers' money. The question I'm putting to you, how does your accounting officer, who as accounting officer for the ministry in which that transfer has been made, and for which he is responsible as the accounting officer, how does he account for what goes on in MLIO? And what are the reporting arrangements for accounting for those monies?
Yeah. Chairman, well, I have it here to show the breakdown of every single thing that was spent for it. The breakdown with the schools, the project category, the start date, how it was approved, the number of persons benefited.
Who prepared that? Who gave you that?
The Ministry of National Security. This came from, not from...
Where did they get it from? What is the accounting arrangement? Not just a document. You see, anybody could write anything, Mr. Chairman, and send it to you. What I'm looking for is a proper accounting procedure. Once the money leaves your ministry, by way of your accounting officer sending it, how does he verify that what you're reading there for me has any basis in fact? You're my life sport. I'm sure you could give me a whole document, a whole box of paper about live sport with all kind of numbers and all kind of companies and all kind of... But we notice in the end that they bore no relation to reality in many instances. So what I'm asking, how does the accounting officer in your ministry account for these transfers?
And you mean the project as well, and not just the one?
Because he's the accounting officer.
To see that something is done.
Because, you see, my fear is that once that transfer is made, once the check goes to that's the end of that, until some unpleasant story breaks. Could you tell us what is in place so that the accounting officer at the level of the ministry can be properly held accountable for these large sums of monies transferred to entities, even nebulous entities like MLIO.
Yes, MLI. Yeah.
That is not, let us split MLIO?
Mobile Laboratory Initiative is a board-based program. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's something else. Well,
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that because
Yeah.
if, I mean, I'm not slander. But I'm asking you.
Yes.
I'm bringing up.
Yes, I
Mr.
recognize
Chairman,
the member for the Guatemala.
there's more. It's not just MLIO. It is ODPM as well. You see, we have ODPM. How does ODPM get money from the ministry? A check? Is a check sent to the ODPM?
No, Chairman, for example, ODPM, if they were involved in disaster, when we had the disaster relief in St. Lucia, they will be the coordinating body, and then they will send the list of the requirements, and then, so for example, if we send water supplies or whatever, checks will be made payable directly to the supplier based on what was sent out.
So the ODPM doesn't award contracts? Is that what you're telling me?
But no, pertaining to disaster management?
I'm talking
No.
about the operations of the ODPM because they are here the recipient of $65 million. And last year they got 60, the previous year they got 56. And I presume that this is in preparation to discharge their responsibility when there's a disaster. So it can't be that, it's not my understanding that they only come into being. Do they award contracts?
So they have a limit up to 450,000. Anything other than that, they have to get the requests and the approval from the permanent secretary for the acquisition.
To award contracts for anything?
But
Yeah.
that's ongoing work too, huh?
Yeah.
Not just
ODPM, yeah, it's not just that they wait on a disaster. There's ongoing things of awareness programs and yes.
You see,
You're over?
I just like to ask the minister to give us.
Mr. Chairman.
Just now?
The minister has just confused me there because I would like him to confirm. I would like him to confirm that the ODPM does not award contracts.
No,
Because if it doesn't, well then my fear is not based on.
below 450.
If it does, then I would like to know how those contracts are awarded, and we'd like a list of the contracts awarded by the ODPM in the last year, and the forecast for what is to be spent.
Just the contracts or expenses?
Who are the contractors, what they have contracted for, and how the money was spent in the last year.
Mr. Chairman.
Because it is my view, contrary to what you've just said, that the
Chairman,
ODPM does in fact obtain
No,
goods
I
and services.
recognize.
Okay.
Diego Martin notice.
No, I was in front of
Tell
him.
me,
With me after.
what is the
Me, I'm
Morva Lavantil initiative? And why isn't there a Diego Martin initiative? Just tell me what it is. Since it's dealing with crime on
And then I go to Diego Martin Central. Go ahead. Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I would like, in the vein of what the leader of the opposition, Minister of National Security, Minister, could you answer me this? In the vein of what the member of Diego Martin West has been asking about the management structure and how the contracts are awarded, etc., I would like to find out the Minister of National Security could tell me what was the management structure for the blimp and how was that contract awarded?
All right.
No, I want to know. I want to
Diego
know.
Martin Central. Diego Martin Central. And Ruka Maloney and then Diego Martin. Portsmouth South. Diego Martin Central, please.
Minister, do I have your attention?
Yeah, please. Yeah, please. Yeah. Please.
Yes. Minister, I promised a follow-up question on training, and it's under line item, sub-item 21, this National Security Training Academy. I would like some information about this.
Yes.
Other transfers? Aren't we under other transfers?
Yes. We are under other transfers.
May I proceed with my question,
Yes.
Chairman?
Yes.
All right. Where is this academy located? Who heads the academy? And I'm looking at the budget of $10 million, well, the allocation of $10 million. And when you add all of the other arms of the Defense Force, with respect to training, you end up with almost $60 million scattered, including $1.5 million at Defense Force headquarters, $2 million at general administration, etc. What is this training academy? And what role does it play with vis-a-vis training in the various arms, which each have their training budgets? Are there distinct training units in the various arms, or how is training being coordinated?
Yeah. Chairman?
Yes.
Chairman?
Yes, the Honourable Minister.
Chairman.
Yes.
The National Security Training Academy is established at the... coming to you as saving the best for last.
Yes, go ahead.
It is established at Kamuto Barracks, Mr. Chairman. This was similar to when we had the Special Anti-Crime Unit. There was a training facility in Kamuto Barracks. But the difference with that academy is that it was limited for only those persons, primarily for the persons who were in SOT. What the National Security Training Academy is doing now is to ensure that it will provide, it's a department that will ensure that the proper type of security requirements would be provided for all arms of the law enforcement agencies. So, for example, this is not specific to any one agency. For example, if it is that we need to have an indoor range, they will facilitate how it is we can acquire an indoor range, not just for the police, but can be used by the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force. They're also looking at other types of training to ensure that we have a simulation theater to deal with the area at Kamuto Barracks to assist the law enforcement agencies in joint patrols, in joint operations between the Defense Force and the police service, which we never had before. It also provides a facility there for the special branch and their specific type of training. So it is now given that environment to allow all different arms of the law enforcement agencies for training. So what you'll see in National Security Training Academy, which is headed by Brigadier General Carl Alfonso as the Executive Director. So it is more of a coordinating agency to assist in looking at the requirements for different arms of the law enforcement agencies, but where you could have that training facility provided for everyone and not just for a specific unit.
Yes, Aruka Maloney.
Yes. Sorry.
Mr. Chair.
Aruka Maloney, please, and then you'll deal with Northeast on that.
What is the question? Why?
Diego Martin initiative.
Mr.
Yes.
There's a number of things, Mr. Chairman. As I said, I have the breakdown of all the different aspects that have assisted in this. It goes again with secondary crime prevention, where we looked at the location and tried to set a course intended to bring about social change based on its promise of greater people's partnership in governance, and what we spoke about. So we're looking at different things in that area, which may be deemed a high-risk area, to provide youths with different opportunities to turn away from a life of crime and to give them just better opportunities. If it is, I have the whole breakdown of all the different things that can be done. Yeah, look, I have the whole list here. I don't know if I could.
All right. Well,
I could run the whole thing. We have mediation training courses.
Please.
We have mediation training courses.
Diego Martin initiative. We don't have crime in Diego Martin.
All right.
Okay, I could look into that. Yes, I could provide this copy for
Look
you.
into that. Aruka Maloney. That's the last area, and then we go on. Please.
Mr. Chair, I would like to look at sub-item 10, Office of Disaster Preparedness and Management. Mr. Chair, what I've noticed is that there is a consistent increase in the transfer to this particular organization from 56 million in 2013, 16, 2014, 65 in 2015. And I would like to find out from the minister whether or not an assessment of the effectiveness of this organization has been done. Some members of the population really don't take the ODPM seriously. We have issues of the communication system, weaknesses in coordination, as well as a lot of people are not aware of the disaster shelters. I saw in an article.
All right, let's hear how the minister will respond to you, Minister.
Mr. Chair, I am not finished.
You're not finished?
I saw in an article by Dr. Ramrup that they were going to increase the number of disaster shelters to 400. We are still not aware of those shelters, where they are located in the event that a disaster occurs. We are not, a lot of people are not even aware of the evacuation procedures. Look at Port of Spain during a normal flash flood.
We are hearing you.
Mr.
What's your
Speaker.
next question?
Next.
You have another question?
Speaker, you're being extremely rude.
All right, okay, we are going under, we are dealing with the development program now. The development program. Subhead 09, development program, item 4, social infrastructure. I recognize the member for Laventille East Mova and the member for the Gomartin East.
Mr. Chair,
Yes?
on the 019, purchase of vessels for the Coast Guard.
Right.
61?
Does this concern the long-range vessels?
The
Sorry,
Honourable
just 1 minute,
Minister.
I'm just getting there. How late is it? Really? Sorry, what were you looking at?
All right. Under 019, purchase of vessels for Coast Guard.
019?
Does this involve the long-range vessels? Purchase of
No. There'll be no acquisition for long-range patrol vessels in this fiscal year. That process would go within, we have a tender process that will take several months. What we are looking to acquire within this fiscal year, Mr. Chairman, will be the acquisition of hovercraft and interceptors to secure the low-lying waters, which will be within the Gulf of Paria and the southern coastline, and also the possible acquisition of 50-meter vessels to secure Tier 2, which will be between 2 and 12 miles offshore.
Okay.
Yes, the next question.
Under 048, there's logistics support for the acquisition of naval assets.
Page,
62.
right, 64.
What number?
What number?
What number? 048.
048.
I see not, there's no provision in 2014, but for 2015.
Which one,
It's a new
sorry?
project.
Which one?
048.
Yeah.
048.
Yeah, well, what's it about? I want to know what it's about. This new project, this 8 million.
Is it the 8 million?
Yes.
Right.
Oh, this involved, there's a specific implementation team, Mr. Chairman, comprised 5 persons, and they have been going to different places to ascertain the type of vessels that are available and what we will require. So that team has gone to, they've gone to Korea, Colombia. So they've been going to different places to ascertain the type of vessels that are available and that will be conducive to what we require. We have had situations before where vessels have been acquired, and then when we get them, they were not the vessels that were appropriate, and it costs, such as the hostile vessels, where we have had that problem. So this is a team that have been going to ensure that we get the right vessels.
Is there any plan to get vessels from China?
China. No, well, remember, we have there'll be a tender process for the acquisition of long-range patrol vessels. So there's been actually no decision made pertaining to the decision for any vessel of that nature for offshore patrolling.
All right, any further questions?
Yes, I have.
Yes.
Upgrade of roadways and drainage to Tetron. Isn't that the work of the Ministry of Works? Why would you all be the regiment be undertaking that?
Well, that roadway really is a private roadway. That is really from, if you're looking from Stobles, go all the way into Tetron, and there's even beyond. So that's why the cost was put under the regiment rather than the Ministry of Works, because this is really it's a private, that area of Tetron Barracks it's a private roadway.
I have one other question concerning the base infrastructure for camps at La Romaine, Felicity and Forest Park. What happened? I see 2 million was allocated, but Minister, I think the La Romaine camp is an important camp, strategically placed in the south of Trinidad and Tobago, and this work has been ongoing since 2008 at that camp. And I see here 3 camps lumped together for 2 million. I feel that something should be done to finish that La Romaine camp, regiment camp.
Yes, right now it is really if you look at the camp, it's really a temporary camp, and the facilities need to be upgraded. Likewise, we are actually looking towards the commencement for the camp in Felicity, and also the Coast Guard bases as well.
Yeah,
but I do understand the Felicity camp to commence.
The La Romaine, because if something
La Romaine.
happens in the south, you must have a proper base in.
And yes, because of our involvement now with the energy sector security initiative, we do know the importance to secure the energy sector. What's this? Money design, yes.
Diego Martin Northeast?
That is just for the
Then Diego
design
Martin
itself.
Central.
That 2 million is just for the design.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman,
Diego Martin Northeast.
but ask the minister to go back to 019.
019,
Can you
Minister.
confirm that the Chinese vessel the Prime Minister spoke about is not going to be acquired, number one?
Which one? What you
The
ask?
Chinese vessel the Prime Minister spoke about when she went to China that we will be buying. Can the minister confirm that that is no longer on the cards? So that's off the radar. We won't.
No, I wouldn't be able to say that now, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, so
You
you
won't-
can't
you-
say.
no, you won't be able
Wait,
to say that.
okay, you can't say. So could you give us some idea of this 50 million? What you're planning to buy with that? You have a breakdown?
But I think I just mentioned
No,
that.
you said interceptor hovercraft, maybe a 50 meter, but one 50 meter will cost 50 million. So do you have an idea of what you plan to buy?
Well, the requests involve hovercrafts and interceptors. That alone will be able to, that will cover that whole aspect.
So then why did you say you're buying a 50 meter? Since
well-
you don't have enough money for it.
Because there's a certain,
Right, okay.
wait a minute, there's actually the approval for
No,
two
it's okay.
50-meter vessels, and in fact,
But you don't have an allocation.
in fact, let me finish. You asked me a
But
question.
you don't have an allocation for it. Two 50-meter vessels would cost, what, over $100 million?
$100 million, yes.
You
But
don't have
you're
an
not going to pay all. You're not going to pay all in one.
So you do plan to buy a 50-meter in 2015?
Yes.
All right, any further
No,
question?
hold on. He hasn't answered me, but
know,
anyway. 47, have you abandoned the purchase of fast patrol vessels?
What?
The Honourable Minister?
047, I see you gone to 0.
047?
You had 25 million allocated. In 2014, it disappeared.
Fast
Have you
patrol
abandoned
vessels.
the acquisition of fast patrol vessels?
No, not at all, Mr. Chairman.
What has happened to that line item?
For the fast patrol vessels.
Yeah.
See, again, it's all different, Mr. Chairman. Whether you call it fast patrol, coastal patrol vessels, there's a difference with offshore patrol vessels and fast patrol vessels.
I'm talking about this line item, not offshore
But
patrol.
what it is?
Not
Go to
closure.
047.
This
I know, but I was
one,
trying to find out
fast
what's the
patrol
question.
vessels. Why have you abandoned the acquisition of fast patrol vessels? You have no allocation for it.
Well,
I
there's
didn't
no
ask about
allocation.
offshore
Item
patrol.
047.
047. I asked you about hovercraft. I reached there yet.
It is under 19. Sorry, 19. It's under 19,
So
Mr.
wait a
Chairman.
minute. So 50-meter vessels, fast patrol vessels, interceptors, hovercraft, Cote-C, Cote-La, all for $50 million? Okay, thank you. Let's go now to. He said.
Well, what is the
another head.
question?
No, before they go Martin Central, I still recognize
No,
Diego
no, no,
Martin
no,
Northeast.
no. Still on
Yes,
this.
yes, they go Martin Northeast. Go ahead.
I would like to know what happened to the refurbishment of Coast Guard aircraft C-26. Have you scrapped that aircraft? Look at 030, zero allocation. Fixed wing twin engine trainer utility aircraft. What happened to that? What happened to that in 2014?
What page are you on?
I'm on page 63. It's the same head, Mr. Speaker. I'm on Air Guard 030, page 63. Refurbishment of Coast Guard aircraft C-26. No allocation. Have you scrapped that aircraft? I haven't finished. Purchase of fixed wing twin engine trainer utility aircraft. What happened to that in 2014? And upgrade of Air Guard fixed wing fleet. What happened in 2014? I'm seeing zero here right through. And could you tell me where's the allocation for the unmanned aerial vehicle, better known as the drones, which you keep talking about? I can't find an allocation for drones inside of here. Where's the allocation for your drones? No, he said UAVs. UAVs. Where allocation for UAVs?
We'll get it.
The Honourable Minister.
Could you deal with the fact that you have not refurbished the Coast Guard aircraft and why you have a zero allocation? Are you scrapping that aircraft?
No, there's actually a tender process in place for us to acquire proper fixed-wing aircraft. The C-26, they have reached the point where...
So you are scrapping it. Why not you answer yes or no?
Well, I am no, but why? What you telling me how to answer my
Are
question?
you scrapping
Please.
Yes or no?
You can't tell me how to answer my question.
Yes.
You ask me a question, I'm giving you an answer.
Why
Yes.
is there no allocation for refurbishment of the C-26 aircraft?
What's that? Under recurrent?
He has responses, not
Yes.
No, hold on. He's not answering me. Answer me.
Honourable Minister, you want to take note of
I will
those?
take note and I'll give the answer. Explain
And
how it will be
supply.
reframed.
allocation for the unmanned aerial vehicle, the drones that we've been talking about for the last year. Where are the drones?
The cost for the UAVs, Mr. Chairman, will come under the National Operations Center.
All right, I
This
go.
year?
I know. Yes, I recognize Diego Martin Central. Diego Martin Central. No, wait. Just now, let's go to Diego Martin Central. Diego Martin Central. I'm coming back to you, Lam, to leave over.
Minister? Minister
Yes.
of National Security?
Yes.
Yes. Minister, I refer you to sub-items 019 and 047.
Sorry,
019 and 047.
what page? What page?
Page 61 and 62. Under Coast
It's
Guard.
the Air Guard. That's Air Guard, but of course, you know what it is. It's Air Guard. No, it's Air Guard.
Chairman, when they're ready, I will proceed.
Yes, you, the Honourable Minister, are you ready for?
I didn't hear the question.
All right,
I was
could you
being
pose your
interrupted
question? Yes, yes, yes. Member for Diego Martin Central, I'm ready.
Thank you, Chairman. 019, purchase of vessels for the Coast Guard, and 047, purchase of fast patrol vessels. Because I listened to the budget, and the government has been speaking about support for local shipbuilding. There have been providers constructing vessels, marine vessels in this country for over 50 years now. Is the Coast Guard considering partnering with any local suppliers for the design and supply of some of the smaller vessels that may be required in the future for this service? Smaller, fast vessels? Or
Interceptors.
Yes, exactly. Is
Yeah.
that on the cards right now? And could you give, if so, give an update as to any negotiations that are taking place?
You can look at it. Yes, Mr. Chairman. In fact, we are actually looking for the possible acquisition of 6 to 8 local interceptors, and these are the 6 to 8 interceptors.
6 to 8.
And these will be, that can be designed. There are companies, we do have companies that actually have the capability.
What size vessels are you talking about?
The interceptors, that will be no more than 34 foot. Anything other than that, once you start moving up to 50 meters, that is when you start looking towards countries such as Holland, United States, Korea, Colombia.
All right, I recognize the member for Laventille East Mover, and then we move on.
Compliments, yeah.
Yeah, we must move.
God,
Mash gas.
I know that you didn't want the member for Diego Martin Northeast to tell you how to answer your question. Could I answer a question for
Please,
you?
please.
Okay. Is it true or is it fair to say that the Air Guard is being underfunded in favor of NOC?
The man just said it's spending too much on.
Oh, not at all, Mr. Chairman. In fact, I think that we have a massive expenditure actually dealing with the maintenance for the 4 Augusta helicopters. Likewise, we have seen the need for to try to the 2 C-26 aircraft. We do need to have a new fixed-wing aircraft. So there's absolutely nothing pertaining to it being competitive in any way at all. It is unfortunate, however, because of the contractual obligations we have with the Augusta helicopters, we do not have that capability to use it as much as we should. We have situations where even the Defense Force, they cannot use the helicopters because the contract, for some reason, it was done under civilian license. So it cannot be used when we had the blackout. We could not use the helicopters. So there's nothing against the helicopters. They are very good helicopters, but the contractual arrangements, they were made in such a way that we have lost the value for those helicopters. So we actually put in good money into a system that we cannot use. And we do have systems, even when the pilots, they are not getting the flying time. One? What's that?
What's something that you cannot use?
Correct.
Okay,
That was Mariano Brown, I think. He was the one that keeps boasting about it. So we have had a situation with those helicopters, and it will continue.
I would now like to go to Infrastructure Development Fund. I recognize Aruka Maloney.
Mr. Speaker, page 242 under Public Order and Safety.
Page 240 what?
242
Yes, 242.
under Public Order and Safety.
Right.
001, the construction of the Aruka fire station. I'd like to find out exactly when would the construction of that fire station begin.
Could you get the fire people to advise you on that?
Yes. The final designs have been approved, Mr. Chairman. The tender process has been initiated for construction of the facility.
Okay. Honourable members, the
Unicorn.
question is, I am proceeding. Honourable members, the question is that a sum of $2,692,486,170 for Head 22. The Ministry of National Security stand part of the schedule. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. I think the ayes have it. The sum of $2,692,486,170 for Head 22. The Ministry of National Security now stands part of the schedule. Honourable Minister, we'd like to thank you, but I want to let you know you have given a lot of undertakings here. And we have recorded all of them, and we shall be writing you to fulfill your commitment to the Parliament. Okay? And we want to thank you on behalf of the standing committee, Finance Committee, and your technocrats. Thank you very much.
Well done.
Thank you.
Honourable members, I understand that the police service will be with us on Thursday. They will not join us today.